Hello, everyone. This is MC Deck Discussions, and I'm Abby Small. And today we have another demo play using Tigra. I had changed the deck quite a bit, and because I made so many changes through my playtesting, which is what the playtesting is for, I decided I would go ahead and do another demo play so that you can see the changes in action. The theming of the deck is still the same, but there were quite a few changes, and so I just thought I'll present the new deck, and I'll go up against Expert Magneto, which is my final playtest, basically. All right. So with that in mind, I'll have time stamps as usual, so you can, forward to wherever you feel like you need to. So if you already know Magneto's setup, you can do that for Expert Magneto. You can just go forward. So I'm going to talk about the Expert setup real quickly, then I'm going to show the deck. Then we'll get started. The demo play, by the way, consists of the initial round, and then usually I pause at that point, and then we come back later in the game when things are more built out and show the last rounds. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, let me put this back to the setup side. All right. So we set the orbital decay side scheme aside, reveal the boarding party side scheme. So here's the orbital decay side scheme set aside, boarding party side scheme in play, and then flip that over. And this has a forced response. After you place a magnet counter on this scheme, if there are at least 3 magnet counters here, discard cards from the encounter deck until a magnetic card is discarded. Reveal that card, then remove 3 magnet counters from this scheme. And there is an errata. We actually remove the 3 magnet counters first and then reveal the card. Okay. And then Magneto has steady and toughness. There is a toughness token on him. When revealed, deal each player a face down encounter card. So we'll do that real quickly here. There we go. You just press E, by the way, and it deals out a face down encounter card. It has a forced response. After Magneto attacks you, place 1 magnet counter on the main scheme. And these little 3 this token that has 3 on it right there, that's my reminder to help me remember to do that. All right, so that's the setup. And now let's go. I'm going to go ahead and share Tigra's latest deck. I'm not going to talk about it much. I'm just going to, present it, and then we'll get back to the demo play. Okay, so here it is, just a cat playing with her food. It now has exactly 40 cards in it. Here are the allies: Deadpool, Gambit, Hope Summers, Iron Fist, Iron Lad, Mockingbird, and I'm just going to mention the ones added to the deck: Patriot, Professor X, and Yellow Jacket. The events, we have Face the Past. Player side scheme is Build Support. We have 3 of the double resources. For the support cards, we have Hidden Base, then we have Quinn Carrier, and we have the Night Nurse. And for our upgrades, we have Deft Focus, 3 copies of Pinned Down, a key card in here, right? We want that keeping minions out in play. 3 copies of Ready for a Fight, so that allows us to go to Alter Ego. We do want to be able to go to Alter Ego, by the way. But what's great about Tigra, and especially, is with Ready for a Fight, you end up over in your hero side by the time you start your turn again, and you get to take advantage of Tigra's hero ability that lets her draw some cards, and then 1 copy of Stun Gun. Okay, so there's the deck. Let's head back over to the initial round. First, let's go ahead and draw our cards and see if we're going to mulligan it all. I'm on the wrong side, so flip over to Alter Ego, and let's draw 1 more card. Okay. And so we have a copy of Hunted right off the bat, Sharp Claws, both copies of Sharp Claws, Deft Focus, Professor X, and Hidden Base. Looks good. I'm just going to start with that, and we'll start our first round. All right, let's start off by using the Greer Nelson's Alter Ego ability. Undercover work, action, search your deck and discard pile for a copy of Hunted and add it to your hand, limit once per round. So let's look in the deck and search for Hunted, and there we go. There are 3 copies of Hunted, by the way, altogether. Shuffle that up, and we've already got 2 in our hand. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip over to the other side. Note one of the big changes that I made in the decks is I decided to drop Nick Fury, not because he's not a great card, but because I try to take Nick Fury out of decks as much as I can. I love having Nick Fury in them for the card draw, but I felt like this deck didn't need it, the extra card draw. All right, let's start with, let's get Professor X out into play. So I'm going to use one of the copies of Hunted. I'm going to use Deft Focus and Hidden Base to get out Professor X. And we will put a Confuse on Magneto. He's steady though, so he is not yet confused. And then let's go ahead and, normally I wouldn't do this, but I'd like to get, I'm going to spend one of the copies of the Sharp Claws to get the other copy of Sharp Claws into play. And this has an interrupt. When you make a basic attack, exhaust Sharp Claws, Tigra gets +1 ATK for this attack. Choose then to either have her gain Overkill or the attack gains Piercing. Okay? And then we'll go ahead and use Hunted. As an additional cost to play this upgrade, search the encounter deck and discard power for a minion and put it into play engaged with you. Attach Hunted to that minion and stun it. And then it has this interrupt. When the attached minion is defeated, ready Tigra. All right, so let's get one of these minions. And I will grab Delgado. Actually, I'm going to grab M-type Sentinel because I want to show you another one of Tigra's abilities here. So let's shuffle the deck and put this on M-type Sentinel. So the Sentinel has Guard, and when defeated, give Magneto a tough status card. But Tigra has this ability. Each minion with a copy of Hunted attached loses Guard. So we can ignore that Guard, at least for now. And then we do need to stun M-type Sentinel. Okay, so there's a stun counter. Let's use Professor X to thwart for 3. So that defeats Boarding Party. When defeated, flip this card and reveal Sabotage Master Mold. So we'll flip that over. And we'll go ahead and let Tigra thwart for 1 more, getting it down to 2. And that's it. Let's ready up and draw our hand size. Okay, so we have 2 copies of Cat-like Reflexes in our hand, Strength, Hope Summers, and Patriot. All right, so some pretty nice choices there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pause there. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to take Magneto's turn to finish the round, and then we'll do that. So put 1 threat on the main scheme, and then Magneto is going to attack, which is, it's a force response after Magneto attacks you. Place 1 magnet counter on the main scheme. I will often place it right away so that I just don't forget to do it. Yeah. All right. And then let's get a boost card, and we will defend with Professor X. So he's attacking for 3. And then give Magneto a tough status card and a face-down boost card. He already has a tough, so another boost card. And that does 1 more damage, defeating Professor X. Get rid of those 2 cards. Let's get another encounter card out. Oh, not yet. Excuse me. First, M-type Sentinel activates, and that'll get rid of this stunned. And then now let's get the next encounter card. Let's flip the first one. Attached to your identity. Attached identity cannot thwart, attack, defend, or recover. And then we have to use this action, exhaust your identity, and spend a physical resource to discard this card. All right, so right here, we'll put that on our side there. And then flip this one. The villain attacks you. All right, should we do? Yes, we're just going to take this attack. All right, so that is going to put, after the end of his attack, right, it'll put another magnet counter here. Okay. All right, so he's going to attack for 3. Let's get rid of this card. Get a boost card, and 2 more, so he hits Tigra for 5. So it goes down from 10 to 5 hit points. All right, now it's our turn. And so you can see here, I'll probably have to use this strength in order to get rid of Wrapped in Metal. I think we're gonna kind of need that. Maybe we could delay 1 round. That would be interesting. But in any case, we'll be back. I am going to pause at this point, and we'll be back later in the game to show the final rounds. Okay, I think we have a good place later in the game here. So it was just Magneto's turn, and he ended up getting Electromagnetic Blast, which exhausted every upgrade and support we have and placed a magnet counter on the main scheme. So there are now 2 magnet counters on the main scheme here. We're in the second main scheme at this point. Okay? And Magneto has physical strain on him, so he can be confused or stunned. And he has the Hood in play, M-Type Sentinel in play, and Amelia Vogt in play. But we have pinned down on 2 of those cards, which are exhausted, right? So you can see all of our cards: pinned down, exhausted, pinned down is exhausted, cat-like reflexes is exhausted. None of those really matter that they're exhausted, but these cards do. Sharp Claws is exhausted. Cat's Head Amulet is in play. Quinn Carrier is in play. Deft Focus is in play. And Precinct HQ is in play. So all of those are in play, and of course all exhausted. And then I guess that's about it. Oh, and of course we have Mockingbird in play, and we have Iron Fist in play, both of whom have 1 damage on them. All right, and Iron Fist still has one of his tokens, his Mystic counters on him, so he can still, has this response: when Iron Fist attacks an enemy, remove 1 Mystic counter from him, stun that enemy, and deal 1 damage to it. All right, so he'll be able to deal a total of 3 damage to an enemy that he attacks and stun them. All right, so now that's the board state, and so now it's our turn. Tigra's ability triggers. On the hunt, response: after the player phase begins, draw 1 card for each minion engaged with you, to a maximum of 3. We have 3 engaged with us. We will draw 3 cards. Okay, and we had 6 cards to begin with because originally we were Magneto. We were on our alter ego side, but we had a copy of Ready for a Fight in play. So Magneto attacked us instead, and so that's why we started with 6 cards in our hand instead of the usual 5. So if you were wondering why did we have 6 cards in our hand to begin with, that's why. All right, so now we just started our turn. Note, I'm going to remind you about this again. Each minion with a copy of Hunted attached loses guard. So M-Type Sentinel is the only one out there with guard, and it does have a copy of Hunted on it. So it loses guard, at least while we're on hero side. All right. So let's go ahead and start our first play here. All right, first I'm going to go ahead and get pinned down on Amelia Vogt, and then that way whenever she attacks, she will now do no damage at all because she has 1 attack, and pinned down will take away 2 of that attack. So none of these will do damage currently. We're going to go ahead and use our Strength here, Double Resource, and Cat-like Reflexes to play Yellow Jacket. So now we have 3 allies in play. Response: after Yellow Jacket enters play, search the top 5 cards of your deck for an upgrade and add it to your hand. So look at our top 5 cards here, and we only have 2. I wasn't paying much attention. Okay, so that doesn't trigger, but we'll still be able to use their attack. I probably should have played Gambit instead. So let's shuffle that back up. All right, yeah, so we only have 2 cards left. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see. We have 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to first attack with Iron Fist against Magneto, and we'll take a consequential afterwards, but we're going to use up this last token. So we're going to do 2 damage plus the extra damage and stun him. So 3 damage and stunned. So down from 6 points to 3. Then we're going to attack with Yellow Jacket, taking 2 consequential damage and dealing 2 more damage. And then we'll attack with Mockingbird, dealing 1 more damage and defeating Magneto. And therefore going to his 3rd stage. Let's keep this attached. Okay. And he comes in with a toughness. So let's put a tough on him. And he has, his steady is gone, of course, because of physical strain. When revealed, deal each player a face down and counter card. So let's grab a face down and counter card. All right, and otherwise he has still the same force response as usual. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and attack with Tigra, getting rid of that tough. Unfortunately, we can't trigger Sharp Claws since it's exhausted. All right, now we're going to play Tooth and Claw. There are 1, 2, 3 minions out. Hold on. Do we want Professor X out so we can go to alter ego side? Just a sec. No, we don't want to do that. Okay. All right, so we're going to play Tooth and Claw, and I'm going to use Feline Senses to play that. So Tooth and Claw, reduce the cost to play this event by 1 for each minion engaged with you. So 3 minions are engaged with us, so this only costs 1. So we will pay with Feline Senses to play Tooth and Claw, and it's deal 4 damage to an enemy, deal 4 damage to an enemy. So we're going to do both of those to Magneto, dealing 8 damage, bringing him down from 22 to 14 points. All right, and then to finish off here, we don't have enough. Unfortunately, all these resource generators were exhausted, so we can't do anything else with the rest. And I actually really like what I have in my hand. We're going to draw these last 2 cards. So yeah, we'll just leave this here. There's something to be said for, because we have all the Tooth and Claws, because there are 3 of them. We have all 3 of them here, and he has 14 hit points. It would be nice to get a chance to draw one of those. So let me go ahead. You know what? Maybe we will go to alter ego side, but then we won't get the card draw in the next turn. Huh. That's right. That's right. Because Hunted, unfortunately, isn't a... Oops. Sorry. Let's see. Hunted, unfortunately, is a mental resource, so we can't use it to play Ready for a Fight. So that would have been nice. Okay. All right. Yeah, so I'm just going to stay on this side. So let's keep the discard pile in the same order. And the only question is, do we keep everything? And I don't think so. I'm going to get rid of... Boy, Ready for a Fight could help us finish the game, though, if it doesn't work out this round. And we should be able to get it into play. So let's get rid of Professor X. I wouldn't mind keeping Gambit, I think. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and go to Ready Up and draw our hand size. And then it is Magneto's turn, hopefully his final turn, although we don't have any attack cards here, so I guess not. Oh, my goodness. We have 2 of these cards out now. And we got Professor X back. All right. So actually, this might last a little bit longer. All right. So let's add a threat to the main scheme. And Magneto is stunned, so he's not going to attack. The Hood attacks. Oh, we've got to get these ready as well. Okay. The Hood attacks, but he's pinned down, so he does no damage. M-type Sentinel attacks and does no damage. Amelia Vote attacks and does no damage. So let's get one more encounter card. Reveal the first one. The villain schemes, so he's probably going to pop this. So let's see what he gets. He's going to scheme for 3 plus 3 more, and so that defeats the second scheme there. That actually puts us in a little bit of danger, even though I thought we weren't in danger. Okay, place 2 magnet counters here. And then we can ignore the rest. We'll flip it over. All right. And that gets rid of that advance. Let's flip over the next one. Magneto now can no longer be stunned. Okay. And the next one. When revealed, you are stunned. So Tigra is stunned. Take 1 damage for each magnet counter on the main scheme. And there are 2 magnet counters, so we're down 4. Which we could trigger this cut-like reflexes, prevent 3 of that damage and confuse a minion. But I think we'll just hold on to that to try to maximize its use if necessary. All right, that finishes Magneto's turn, and let's go ahead and do our turn now. So first, let's trigger Tigra's ability on the hunt and draw 3 cards. Okay, I paused there, so I don't know what I just said. I know I started my turn and drew my cards. But I'm just going to do what I'm thinking now that I came back. So I had to pause and help my wife there. Okay, so I'm just going to attack with Tigra and get rid of this stunned right off the bat. And that way I don't not notice that later. And then let's go ahead and attack with Iron Fist for 2 damage. Bringing Magneto down to 12. And what is it? He can't be stunned. All right, so let's discard Iron Fist. I'd like to see how much damage Gambit could possibly do. So I'm going to play Gambit. We're going to use Cat's Head Amulet. We have 3 minions out, so it can generate 3 resources. And we'll play Gambit. And then after Gambit enters play, look at the top 3 cards in the encounter deck, tuck 1 under him so that only the boost card is visible. So let's go ahead and get those out. I'm actually going to bring them out this way, otherwise I just see the rest of the cards too. And I'll just put them back in the same order. All right, so looks like Master of Magnetism would be a good one to grab. He'll be able to advance if, let's see, so if he attacks next round and uses Assault, then he will end up using Advance after that, so that he would be able to scheme, and he can currently scheme for 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that could be pretty dangerous. Okay, I think we'll be okay, because we do have Professor X, so we can make sure that he's also, wait, yeah, he can't be stunned, but he can actually be confused. All right, so yeah, we can play it conservatively that way. All right, so let's go ahead and take the Master of Magnetism. Then that way, we'll be able to do 2 damage with Gambit. So let's put these 2 cards back on top. So the Advance goes back on top, and the Assault goes back on top. All right, so now we know Assault and Advance will be what come out next. And the Assault doesn't do any damage, so we know that the most Magneto can do when he attacks is going to be 4 damage. Okay. All right, let's attack with Gambit, dealing 2 damage to Magneto. And then let's make sure to get, where is it? Here it is, ready for a fight. I'm going to use Quinn Carrier to get ready for a fight out right now. And that way we can be able to flip over to the other side. And just to make sure we are able to get Professor X out, we're going to do that right now too. So we can spend the energy. And let's go with, oh, actually, let's bring that back because we have 3 allies out right now. And so let's go ahead and attack with Yellow Jacket and deal 2 damage. And then he'll take his consequential damage and be defeated. And then now we have room for Professor X. Okay, so let's use the energy. So 2 resources there, plus I'm going to use Deadpool, and we'll get Professor X out, and that will confuse Magneto, and then Professor X will go ahead and get rid of the rest of this threat. And then, let's see. I think we'll finish off by doing this, actually. We're going to use these 2. Oh, wait. If I want to make sure we can win in the next round, we want to do, all we have to do is 8 damage. So let's actually attack with Mockingbird and deal 1 more damage, bring him down to 7. That defeats Mockingbird. And then we'll go ahead and play Iron Lad. And then Iron Lad will attack for 1 damage. Get him down to 6. All right. So, and that means we have ready for a fight over here, and we have this extra, the cat-like defenses to help out on defense. So that looks pretty good. Okay, let's flip over to our alter ego side. Ready up. And draw our hand size. And this should be the last round. I don't see why it wouldn't be. So let's go ahead and do it. All right, so put 1 threat on the main scheme. And we'll trigger ready for a fight. So Magneto is going to attack for 3, 4, plus the boost card. We will defend with Professor X. And that is going to place a magnet counter here. So that is going to be 3. Okay. And so we defend with Professor X. So 3, 4. No extra damage there. Okay. and Professor X is defeated. Then we trigger this. So all that preparation I didn't end up mattering because I didn't account for this triggering. So let's go ahead and get rid of those 3 magnet counters. Oops, wrong way. There we go. And we're going to discard cards until a magnetic card is discarded and reveal that card. There we go. Okay. So I thought we were about to win this, and it turns out we're not. So Magneto now has Retaliate. Okay. And in addition to that, when Magneto would take any amount of damage, place it here instead. Then if there is 8 or more damage here, discard this card. All right. So so that adds a little bit of extra work that we're going to have to do. But let's have the minions activate. So the Hood activates, is pinned down, does no damage. The M-type Sentinel does no damage. Oh, I was supposed to flip over, sorry. Flip over to hero side when we triggered ready for a fight. And then Amelia Vogt attacks and does no damage. So none of them do damage. And so now let's get out an encounter card. And now Magneto cannot be confused either. Wow, those are really stacking up. Okay, so it's our turn, and we do still have 3 minions out here, so let's draw 3 cards. We only have 11 left, so not bad odds of getting Tooth and Claw. Okay, excellent. All right, that's just what we needed. So let's finish this game right now. So we have 3 minions out. So Tooth and Claw reduce the cost to play this by 1 for each minion out. So Tooth and Claw only costs 1. Let's use Deft Focus to reduce that cost by 1 more for being a superpower card. We're going to play Tooth and Claw. That's going to deal 8 damage to Magneto's, not armor. Here it is, Magneto's helmet. So, but it's not 8 damage all at once. So we deal 4 damage. So we are going to take a Retaliate. All right, for that first 4 damage. Oh, I'm still on the wrong one right here. You take a Retaliate there, right? So, but we now have 4 damage on it. Oh, that 1 damage that I put on there, that's not actually there. So it's 4 damage now. Okay. All right, then if there is 8 or more damage here, discard this card, right? So deal 4 more damage, and that makes 8 damage, right? Because this says 4 damage and 4 damage. Okay. All right. And so now we can deal, so it has the Forced Interrupt, right? When Magneto would take any amount of damage, place it here instead. Then if there's 8 or more damage here, discard this card. So now we can discard that card. And there's 8 damage on it. Okay. And now we can just attack him to his face. He only has 6 hit points left. So let's do the other Tooth and Claw and finish him off. So in that case, we'll just use Quinn Carrier. And there's the other Tooth and Claw, dealing 4 damage and 4 damage. So that's, I'm going to keep track of how much damage we're dealing altogether, including the 8 damage we just did. So of course, now that puts him down to 0. So altogether, I just want to keep track of how much damage we're able to deal this round. So that's 16 damage so far. Okay, so the game's over, so you could always stop, of course, the video. But I'm just kind of curious about what that's going to add up to after we finish with attacking with all of our allies real fast, and with Tigra as well. We can get out Sharp Claws, so we'll do that real quickly. Okay, so now Tigra will attack, exhaust both of those Sharp Claws, dealing a total of 4 more damage, up to 20. Gambit can attack for 2 more damage because of the card that's attached. Iron Lad can attack for 1 more damage. Then we can get Hope Summers out, right? So we can do 2 and 2 and play Hope Summers. And then Hope Summers can look in the deck for a superpower card. And we have 1 more Tooth and Claw. Keep that, or excuse me, shuffle that. Okay. And then we will use Hunted to play Tooth and Claw, because it, again, there are 3 minions out, so it only costs 3, so we paid 1. So to get that out, deal 4 damage and 4 damage, so that's 8 more damage, up to 31 points, from 23 to 31. Okay, so we played all 3 Tooth and Claws. Okay, Hope of Summers attacks for 2 more, up to 33. We'll use Cat's Head Amulet to play Moon Knight. Do we have to discard a card? We do. We will just discard Gambit now. Okay. And after Moon Knight enters play, search and counter deck a discard pile for a minion, put it into play, engage with you, stunning to fuse that minion. All right, so it doesn't really matter which one we pick as long as it's not M-type Sentinel. Wait, minions. Here we go. Oh, it kind of does matter which one we pick. Hold on. And here's why. Because, these guys all have teamwork. So we'll just flip over to our alter ego side when we play Moon Knight. Note that this resource generator is a general resource generator, so we can do that on alter ego side. So when we play him, so that way, now he can grab one of them, and if they trigger, so let's just pick Senyaka, and then he will, right, he has teamwork, so he schemes for 1. There we go. Now we can ignore him and attack with Moon Knight for 2 more for 35. Okay? And so hopefully you saw why you saw some value in just seeing that part to know that, oh, hey, we may have these people, these enemies pinned down, but they're still going to, the ones with teamwork are still going to trigger, their teamwork when they come into play. Actually, does teamwork? Oh, I have a question for everybody. Does teamwork trigger when they come into play? Because this says put it into play engaged with you, so it's put into play. Does teamwork trigger when it's put into play? I assume it does, kind of like the way Quick Strike does. So I'm going to assume it triggers anyway when it's put into play and not, it doesn't have to be revealed. So I'll just assume that's true. All right, and that's it. So we ended up dealing altogether 35 points of damage in that last round. So I hope you found this valuable. I'm really enjoying this deck for sure. Tigra and Hulkling both, like a couple of my favorites. I've only played them in one aspect each, but I'm loving both of them. And Tigra I've enjoyed way more than I thought I ever would. So much fun, so different than any other hero that I've played, and especially I think in Protection. All right, so everybody have a good one, and we'll catch you next time.